Ayubowan, Vanakkam. I want first to thank all the agencies and individuals who organized this event. To all of you present here this evening for taking a moment to remember Lasantha, thank you. Throughout this past year, I have been touched by the many tributes that have been paid to him, often by people who have never actually met him, but were moved by his death and by his example. I want you to know I am grateful for the honor you have paid his memory, and for the strength you have given me to fight on. Now, a year later, Lasantha's murder remains unsolved. Indeed, there has been no serious investigation into his murder. The same can be said for 13 other media workers who have been brutally slaughtered since President Mahinda Rajapaksa assumed the presidency just 4 years ago. And I am confident there will never be such an investigation. When the state kills, it kills with impunity. The situation of the media in Sri Lanka is precarious and the outlook is grim. Independent journalists practice their profession only with the utmost risk. In 2006, President Rajapaksa suspended the constitution and promulgated a series of regulations that sought to curb the media. It is under these regulations that Jayaprakash Tissanayagam, a Tamil journalist, was recently given a 20-year sentence of imprisonment with hard labor for writing an article perceived as being critical of the Rajapaksa administration. These draconian regulations are still in force 8 months after Sri Lanka's military vanquished the Tiger terrorists. They are in force because the incumbent government has an election to win on the 26th of this month, and nothing, neither life nor limb, neither decency nor democracy, will be spared to wrest that victory from the people of Sri Lanka. Sadly for Sri Lanka, I believe the worst is yet to come. It is now open to doubt whether the victory over terrorism, achieved after bloodshed and loss of life, both civilian and military, will turn to ashes as the government subverts democracy so as to consolidate its stranglehold on power. Never in our history have we seen corruption, nepotism, and state-sponsored violence practiced so blatantly and on so wide a scale as we see now. Never before have the fundamental tenets of democracy been tested so severely as they are being tested now. In the course of this spasm of murder and violence these past 4 years, dozens of media workers have been forced to flee Sri Lanka and seek refuge in the West. I myself can no longer even visit my husband's grave. The Rajapaksa government holds the Sri Lankan media in an iron grip. The state media have been reduced to an organ of cheap political propaganda for the president and his brothers, little more than peons singing peons. But even they sometimes rebel, and the consequences for their staff, as we saw in the state-owned Rupavahini television station in 2008, can be terrifying. And then there is that small but indomitable minority of journalists and editors in the ever-diminishing independent media. They are of an altogether different ilk. They walk with angels, and it is thanks to their determination and extraordinary courage that Sri Lanka today retains even a vestige of journalistic integrity. So long as they persist and are allowed to live, there is hope. Our duty today, then, is to extend to this minority of brave people all the support we can muster. We must speak out for freedom. If we fail in this duty now, Lasantha and all those who have paid the supreme price for the liberty that we ourselves enjoy will have died in vain. History judges harshly, and future generations must not point to us and say, it was we who failed them. We must not